This is Network 18 and you are watching CNN IBN. This is India at 9, broadcasting live from the CNN IBN headquarters in New Delhi with Rajdeep Sardesai.
Hello and welcome to India at 9. It's Friday night and ahead of the weekend, this is your destination for the day's top stories, the news, the newsmakers, the talking points on India at 9. Let's get the headlines at the top of the... But has young India really moved well beyond Ayodhya? That's our big talking point tonight on India at 9. Joining us now, a special panel with us from Mumbai. We're joined by Gul Panag, actor, Ranveer Shure, another young actor, Rahul Ishwaran, who works with the he's the spokesperson for the Sabrimala temple. He joins us from Thiruvananthapuram. I'm also joined here by Hamidullah Saeed. He's the youngest MP in Parliament from the Congress party. Also with me is Shazia Ilmi. She's a television journalist. And Bimlendu Jha is the founder director of Swechha. It's an NGO. So 6 different viewpoints, hopefully, that will come in, all young faces. Let me first come to you, Gul Panag. You represent Young India. Do you believe that Young India is simply not interested in even considering what has happened in the past? It simply wants to sweep aside the past, move ahead, is only concerned about its own future. It's a Me Too generation which is not worried about Ayodhya and issues like that.
I'd have to agree to you largely on that, Rajdeep. I think in any progressive country, and we'd like to think of ourselves as progressive people, religion has to come back to the private domain. It has no place in the public domain. At the end of the day, what we want is education, we want prosperity, we want hope for a better future for all our brethren in this country. Really, any party that wants to be India's democratically elected representative should keep religion out of its domain now and forever. And I mean, I'd like to add here that India as a nation, as a country and as a culture has had a history of communal harmony for centuries. In fact, we are the only nation in the world in recorded history to not have had any anti-Semitic incidents during, in the last. So in fact, we're also the country where people who faced religious persecution, such as the Zoroastrians, came to. Now we've had communal.
Hold on. But you're saying that we've been a nation of communal harmony, yes, but we've also had conflict in the past. Ranveer Shure,
right?
What has changed? What has changed?
Can I finish, Rajdeep?
Yes.
Can I just finish for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
The point is the communal violence that we've recorded in history has been pretty much the last 7 or 8 or maybe 9 decades. And it's all later found to be politically motivated, clearly.
Okay.
So what are we talking about? I mean, we're talking about an aware generation today, an educated generation that wants prosperity, economic prosperity, infrastructure, and of course accountability and lack of corruption. We don't have time to bring religion back into the public domain when it really needs to go into the private domain.
Okay, that's a good point, that you want religion to be in the private domain. It should not be in the public domain. But Ranveer Shure, is it about the economy? We gave those figures in the story. The Sensex is now 20,000. It was 2,000 in 1992. The economy is 9%. It was then 2.2%. Is it just the money factor that drives India's young and thereby keeps religion in a public sense away? Because there is also the trend of these religious television serials which are gathering momentum, religious television channels. Kadwa Chauth is celebrated. So it's not as if religion is out of our lives, is it?
No, Rajdeep, I think on the other hand, this is the younger generation showing far more maturity about things that are in the religious domain, to borrow Gul's word. I think is that more and more youngsters are finding a disparity between what our religious leaders are supposed to be preaching or talking about and what in effect the actions show. What I'm trying to say here is that as religious leaders, the idea is for you to be shepherds of your faith and to lead them to something bigger, bigger and grander, and to make have that faith grow in some way. Instead, we are finding our religious leaders are boxing things up either in murtis or or in buildings. And I think it is this thing which doesn't make sense to the newer generation.
Okay.
I think they see this.
So they see that
disparity.
yeah, okay. So they see that religious leaders have, in a sense, misled them. They've not been shepherds, but have misled them. Rahul Ishwaran, you're a trustee with the Sabrimala Trust. Is that true that religious leaders today stand discredited in the eyes of India's young? India's young doesn't like the idea of institutionalized religion. They like religion in their private domain.
I doubt whether we can generalize those things. I believe India as a nation and a notion, India both as a nation and as an idea, as a notion, we should move ahead. But in order to move ahead, we need three things, and three things to be very clear and precise. The first thing being, those who brought down that disputed structure, let it be Babri Masjid disputed structure, should be held accountable, because that's a criminal act, that's an illegal act, they should be held accountable. Second thing, those people who still try to provoke those two communities, I don't want to name the paper, one particular paper gave this headline, one very prominent South Indian paper gave this headline here, where they showed jubilant Hindus and sad Muslims, as if they are competitors. Right. So these kind of medias should also be held accountable. The media should be responsible of themselves. And the third thing, I would humbly request, like our Muslim brethren has holy Mecca, like our Christian Jew brethren has Jerusalem or Jerusalem, let Hindus, build a Ram temple there. It is sacred to us. We can have all sort of negotiation, settlement and everything. But if it can be, like you earlier showed, Hindus helping to build a mosque, or if our Muslim brethren can come forward and help build a grand Ram temple. Remember, not only Indian Hindus, Indonesian Muslims, their largest icon is Ram. They call Ram Imam-e-Hind. Ram is their greatest cultural icon. No, so their airline's name is Garuda Airways. So Ram is a cultural symbol. So if you can help that get achieved, I think it will be a new beginning in India.
Will it be a new beginning? Shazia, Ilmi, you come from Kanpur, from Uttar Pradesh. A lot of people, a lot of Muslims seem to be silently, quietly suggesting that there's a sense of disappointment, a sense of grievance almost after the verdict. Is that translating into a feeling where animosities will grow? Or is that translating into a feeling as, let's perhaps work out a compromise? Do Muslims feel that they are in a position to work out a compromise? Would young Muslims like to, for example, see a mosque and a temple coexist on the Ayodhya site?
Ayodhya for the longest period has been the veil, the shroud behind which hides vote bank politics. And it's very nice of Gul and Ranveer to say what they're saying. And it's very utopian, I feel, and very idealistic, because that's really what we've seen religion and politics to be in our country. Are you
saying the young are utopian and idealistic, that they are blind to the reality?
I would love to.
That Gul and Ranveer are being blind to the reality. It's a very, some would say, a very Mumbai idealistic way of looking at the world.
Exactly. And I also, not entirely, if you go to smaller towns, if you go to Mofussil towns, if you go for Muslim concentrated areas in Lucknow and Gonda, you will see there is a sense of disappointment with the way judgment has been. But if you really ask them and say, what do you want? Do you want a better credit facility? Or the masjid? They'll say, we want that. Do you want
a better credit?
Yes, yes.
People want Bijli, Sadak and Pani in Uttar Pradesh today ahead of Mandir or Masjid.
Go quietly to the Begumganj area of Kanpur, predominantly Muslim, and quietly ask them, what do you want? Do you want electricity? 20 years, there's been only 8 hours of electricity every day.
So you're coming back to the basic necessities, and you made a point about vote bank politics that I want to get in, Hamidullah Saeed. Hamidullah Saeed, somewhere down the line, there's a feeling, even today, a day after the Ayodhya verdict, the noises are coming from the politicians. We are angry with the verdict. Ram temple must be built. It's the politicians who are playing the vote bank politics. Doesn't that worry you? Look at the Congress reaction. The Congress is silent for fear of antagonizing one community or the other. That's not the way a progressive polity is built.
You see, the matter has been adjudicated by the High Court.
Right.
And if any party is aggrieved by the ruling of the High Court, it always has the option of, appealing to the apex court against the impugned order. So I don't think that it is necessary for any political outfit to have a comment on that.
But do you agree
that
any
party which is having...
Mr. Saeed, do you agree that your seniors do practice vote bank politics, that when they look at Ayodhya, they see how many votes will I get by taking a particular stand? That's the nature of our politics, that we've used the minorities in particular as a vote bank.
No, I disagree with that.
You disagree despite the fact of the Shilanyas, the various instances where the Congress also, whether it's Shah Banu, Shilanyas, you don't hold the Congress guilty of vote bank politics. has the politics matured? India has matured. Has our politics matured?
You see, youth has always been the protagonist of reform, protest and revolution. You have talked just now about youth.
Yes.
So I am a youth member of parliament. I am a young member of parliament.
Will you?
So why are you talking about what is past, what is history?
Okay, so for you, Ayodhya is history. You want to look ahead, right?
I'm not saying what is history, but what I am saying is, if any party is aggrieved by the adjudication order, the verdict that is given by the court, the aggrieved party has always an option to appeal to the apex court.
You're saying follow the judicial process
within the period of limitation.
Okay.
Vimlendu, because it is the judiciary which is educated.
Okay. Vimlendu, do you believe that there is an anti-politician, anti-religious leader mood among the young? And that somewhere tells the young today that, look, this Ayodhya issue, they're cynical about their politics, and that cynicism extends to issues like Ayodhya.
See, there is cynicism that we have in young people, and more so because the way India has conducted itself in the last 20 years, and how politicians or how our religious leaders have conducted themselves in the last 20 years. Also, if you look at as in the way we talk about young people moving on or young India moving on, it would actually mean that young people or young India is actually putting all the other issues, in the sense the issue of the past, under the carpet. The problem is not the issue is not that we should not talk about it. In the past, when I used to teach, like we work with young people, and every time we talk about religion, every time we have to talk about Ayodhya, there is some kind of misfortune that we bring in. Some kind of a different kind of a debate that we bring in.
So you're saying the young must confront the ghosts of the past and move on.
And that's
First you must confront the ghosts of the past.
It's about the maturity of the young as much as it is the maturity of the politicians. Because I don't want to give credit to politicians for this particular behavior of the country.
Okay, Gulpanal, some are suggesting that maybe you're utopian when you say, look, communal harmony is important, because while there's communal harmony, as we showed in an expose a couple of weeks ago, if you have a Muslim surname, it's difficult to get a house, for example, in Mumbai.
Absolutely.
So there is that part of India as well. So while we've been mature about Ayodhya verdict, religious identities still seem to matter. Religious antagonism still extend below the surface.
Well, I think religious antagonism exists, but I like to believe that the youth, which comprises majority of today's population, doesn't subscribe to that view. And fortunately or unfortunately, as